We're going to be looking at this brain model right here in this video. This is a mid-sagittal view. And again, there are these hot buttons that when you rotate it to a certain place, tell you the structures. And you can rotate it by grabbing it, or you can use the buttons below. And again, this little icon, which is cut off from the screen, will enlarge it, and the four buttons are hiding on this side right there. So I'm going to enlarge the brain, and we'll start. So here is our brain, and this is our frontal lobe. This is our longitudinal sulcus right here, and this is our temporal lobe. This is the parietal lobe. This is the cerebellum. We can tell the cerebellum is different from the rest of the brain because remember, these ridges are called gyri. And instead, on the cerebellum, we have these folia. So it's a lot tighter ridges. Now, in the other videos, we talked about the external structures of the cerebrum, so I'm not going to focus on them there. Instead, I want to look at the lateral view of the brainstem here. This is the pons. It's actually the second part of the brainstem. It's this nice rounded structure right there. So we see it's a nice round bulge. And that is coming off. It has a very important center for respiration, so it helps control breathing. This is the medulla oblongata right there. And see that thing that looks like an olive? Well, the person that discovered it, or classified it, thought it looked like an olive, so it's called the olivary nuclei. Again, this is the cerebellum, and then the rest of this is the brainstem. You can see some cranial nerves coming off. We'll look at those in the next lab. But that right there is the accessory nerve. If we rotate it this way, we could see some of the other cranial nerves coming off. So this is the anterior view of the brainstem. That is the pons, medulla oblongata. And again, we have the cerebellum right there, and we could see the longitudinal sulcus right there. So I'm going to keep rotating this brain until we are at the mid-sagittal view, which is the purpose of this video. Again, we have the beautiful pons right there. We have the brainstem, the medulla oblongata, and we can see the cerebellum. Now, this structure right here, C, that is the mesencephalon, or the midbrain. It's actually separate from the pons and the medulla oblongata. This develops from its own embryological region, where the cerebellum, the pons, and the medulla oblongata develop from a completely separate region. So this right here is the cerebral aqueduct. It's connecting something called a ventricle, which is in a different video, that is right between the two parts of the thalamus, and it goes down into this hole, or this cavity right here. This cavity is called the fourth ventricle, which implies there's three more somewhere up here. So this fluid called cerebral spinal fluid actually flows through this ventricle system. There's two in the cerebral hemispheres, one in the middle of the thalamus, and then the fourth one is right here. This is going to go and surround the brain. It helps protect the brain. It washes away waste. It provides buoyancy. So that is where the ventricle is. It's basically a cavity. It's lined with ependymal cells, and it makes cerebral spinal fluid. And then the cerebral spinal fluid also will go down into the spinal cord, which probably starts about right there. Now, this is the cerebellum. This is one of my favorite structures in the brain just because it looks so pretty in the real brain. See how the white matter in this looks like a leaf? Well, that is called the arbor vitae. That is the tree of life. And it looks really cool in the real brain. I love the arbor vitae. So this is white matter tracks that are basically taking signals to and from the brainstem into the cerebellum. So, moving up. Medulla oblongata, pons, midbrain or mesencephalon. We have the diencephalon right here. This L is the top of the diencephalon. And the diencephalon is going to have three main structures. This middle structure is the thalamus. Thalamus means middle room. We have the hypothalamus right there. Hypo is below. Then we have the epithalamus back here. Now the thalamus is an important relay of signals coming up the brainstem. So signals go up, they go to the thalamus, and it relays them to the proper part of the brain. That's most signals. we have the olfactory nerve right there. The olfactory nerve actually skips the thalamus. It's very picky and gets a direct route to the... Now, this brown spot right here, that is a tract that goes from the left side of the thalamus, so this would be the left side right here, to the right side of the thalamus. And it's missing in about 20% of people. This is called the interthalamic adhesion. It's a passageway of signals between the left and right thalamic lobes. And it's a very small tract, again, missing in 20% of people. See this giant tract right there? That is the Corpus Callosum. It means big body. This is the main passageway of signals from the left side of the brain, this is the left, to the right side of the brain. So this is the Corpus Callosum. Look how much bigger it is than the little tiny interthalamic adhesion. There's a couple other white matter tracts which are not completely clear right here on this brain model, so we're not going to go into them. Now, the hypothalamus means below the thalamus. Hypo is below. And it has a couple of cool structures in it. This one, M for mammillary body. This is a nucleus in all mammals. It is actually a doorway or a gateway into the system called the limbic system that deals with stressful memories, good memories, dealing with danger, dealing with pleasure. So this mammillary body is actually a very important nucleus. Now, also attached to the hypothalamus, we have this little grape. That grape is called the Pituitary Gland. You can sort of see it attached by the infundibulum right there. And the Pituitary Gland is considered the master gland of the endocrine system. So we're going to talk a lot about that in the endocrine system. So, we have a couple other structures. This white matter tract is called the fornix. It is part of that limbic system. So the mammillary body enters the limbic system. The signals go on this fornix to structures such as the hippocampus and the amygdala, which we don't have on this brain, so we're not going to worry about them. It also receives signals from part of the epithalamus, but we don't have the epithalamic structures on this brain. So again, just this is the epithalamus. This letter T right here, that's something called the septum divider, pendiculum. And on the other side of this is one of those ventricles. Remember I said this is the fourth ventricle, which implies 3 more. So the third ventricle would be right here between the left half of the thalamus and the right half. And you have a lateral ventricle behind this in the left cerebral hemisphere. So again, the ventricle models I'll show you separately. So I blew up the brain picture. This is a different brain, but I want to show this to you. So we have the infundibulum attached to the pituitary right there. We could actually see the habenular nuclei and the pineal gland right there. So this is the back way into the limbic system. This is the mammillary body. This is the fornix, and then this is the choroid plexus of that third ventricle that's between the two thalamuses. Now there's one more brainstem structure that is hiding. See this K and this E, I believe? There are these 4 bodies. 1, 2 on this side, 2 on the other ones. They are the Corpora Quadrant. Anyone care to guess what that means? That means 4 bodies. Now I'll do a separate video for this brain on the cranial nerves, but here is the olfactory nerve. Here's the optic nerve. And this branch right there, where it bridges, is called the optic chiasm. Now on some of the brain models, we don't have a pituitary gland, so they think that's the infundibulum. This is actually the optic nerve and the optic chiasm. So that is our brain model from the mid-sagittal view. So try to find the structures and have a good day. Thank you.